Hi, everybody. 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins here, taking a look at this winter storm, this Arctic blast that is pushing across the central and eastern half of the United States over the next few days. Going to be a very dangerous storm here, as not only are we talking about Arctic air coming from Siberia, coming all the way across Canada down into the United States, but it's going to come with a lot of wind. And so not only are you going to have obviously the really cold air, but you're going to have a lot of wind. You're going to have blowing snow, blizzard conditions. But what happens in those times is you can actually take a lot of power outages. And when you take a lot of power outages when it's really cold, people struggle to get warm and stay warm. And so there's going to be a lot of issues with this starting tonight and really going through Saturday. And then you've got Friday, which is one of the busiest travel days of this season for folks, especially trying to get up to the Northeast or getting out of the Northeast, right? Depends on where you're headed. But Saturday, traveling to the Great Lakes and the Northeast, that looks a little bit better. Friday is just the day that I think there's going to be all kinds of problems. Friday, if I have to travel on Friday, I'm not wanting to travel now. I would try and get out on Thursday if I could do it, especially if you say the Great Lakes area up into the Northeast. All right, let me get you over here now. Let's just talk numbers right now. These are current air temperature numbers, guys. Look at the cold coming down out of Canada. Now, I know it's probably hard for you to see these numbers, but basically in this area right in here, where you see the white, that's 20 below or more. Air temperatures. Plus, we've got wind. Look at the wind. Chill. Right now, look at Minnesota and Wisconsin. Wind chills. The warmest wind chill I can see on here is about 18 degrees below zero. That's down here, 16. There you go, right in the southern part of the state. How about 46 below wind chill right there, central, just southwest of Grand Rapids. All right, right there. That's incredible wind chills. 50 below wind chills in northern Dakota right now. Minot, 42 to 45 below is what it feels like when you talk about factoring in the cold air and the wind. All right, so this is dangerous cold. Let me go back here just to the temperature so you can get an idea. Now look what's happening right now. I mean, Pennsylvania, New York, 20s, not bad. 30s in Chicago. Milwaukee, bam. Milwaukee's down into the teens just outside of town, 25 by the lake. Chicago's at 29 right now. So the cold air is now pushing in, and it will keep diving. So what do we want to do now? Let's talk about the model. So let's start with, I'm going to back it up. I'm going to show you where the cold air is, obviously, right now. Here it comes. This is the GFS model. This is tomorrow afternoon. You see the push is right in here. Okay, now watch the Dakotas and Nebraska area as we go through tomorrow night into Thursday afternoon. Look at this. You see this push right here? That push right there is the leading edge of that cold air. And then watch, it dives southward down towards Texas, but look at this lobe here. There's a low pressure system developing right over the Great Lakes, and I'll show you that coming up. And it's going to be a doozy. That is going to help pull this cold air down and wrap it around and pull it off towards the east. We're going to get a pretty big taste of it here in Florida, but we're not going to get, obviously, the brunt of it. But you can see this is Friday afternoon, and look at the cold air pushing across the southeast, coming through here Friday afternoon. Our coldest morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, I think it's Sunday morning, Christmas morning, will be the coldest here in Tampa. But just extreme cold for most of the country, especially the Dakotas, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, all of the Michigan, obviously those areas. And then as we go through Saturday into Sunday morning, this is Christmas, you see the cold is shifting eastward. On Monday, it starts to lift, but it stays pretty daggone cold, to be honest with you, although conditions will be improving. All right, now let's talk about the storm itself. You know what? Let me show you this. This is the GFS version of the storm. All right, let's back up here. First of all, let me point this out. Look at this high over here. You see this high coming out of Western Canada? When you get a low pressure develop over the Great Lakes, you get lots of wind around the outside of it because of the lower pressure. But this is a 1062 millibar high pressure here coming in. That is heavy air. That's a big time. You get 1,030, and that's a pretty strong high pressure. This is 1,062. Now look, it'll weaken a little bit. It's 1,058. But look what's happening. Here's our low developing by Thursday night over the Great Lakes. See that? So that alone would create wind around it. But the difference between this low and that high are giving us this incredible gradient here. See all those black lines right there? Those are isobars. That's what's really trying to pull down the cold air. It's a lot of wind. So as we go through Friday morning, sunrise, look at this thing cranking down. 962 or so is what I saw. I mean, look at Friday. That's Friday morning, 10 in the morning, 978 low, 972, 969, 967, 962. Now, this is not like a hurricane, don't get me wrong, but when we look at like what's called Dvorak and we start looking at satellite presentation of tropical systems, when we see pressures around 962, you're talking 80, 90 mile per hour winds. You're approaching Cat 2 tropical systems. Now, this is a little bit different, but boy, oh boy, is that going to be a ton of wind. Look at all these lines over from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, all the way Pennsylvania even, and New York. Guys, that is a ton of wind, all the snow blowing around it on the backside. And because the high is sitting here and the low's there, it's just pulling everything down right in the middle. And that's pushing that cold all the way down. That's why this is going to affect so many parts of the country. So there's Saturday morning at sunrise right there. Conditions will actually improve a little during the day on Saturday for New York and, well, obviously upstate. And you can see this, most of this storm system, the models have shifted a little bit to the east, but most of this will affect the Great Lakes area. It looks like the cities, the I-95 corridor won't get as much, but it will get brutally cold. Don't get me wrong. It's going to get terribly cold there. But then look, here we go as we get into Christmas morning at sunrise. All kinds of lake effects still going on. The winds will be coming down at that point. But man, oh man, is it going to be rough. So speaking of winds, let me show you the surface winds. And this is just the wind speed in miles per hour, okay? So let's back up here. Let's go into, here it comes with the front. Now watch, this is Friday morning with the low developing at sunrise right there. All right, all this green that you see in here is steadily in the 30s. We'll see some areas sustain in the 40s. Milwaukee NWS is saying something like 40 to 50 mile per hour winds with higher gusts. You see these yellows in here as we get into Friday afternoon. Southern Michigan, Ohio. Oh, man, sustained winds well into the 30s with higher gusts. Can you imagine wind coming in off the lake is going to be even higher, right? So, yeah, just all kinds of problems there. Guys, this is Friday afternoon. Look at all the wind. Here's the snow. See all the snow in this area, Michigan. Just terrible travel. Terrible travel. Even look at DC. That's a ton of wind coming through DC. Even rain going over to snow, possibly, at least briefly, in the DC area. Trying to get into JFK. I mean, look, they're going to get some flights in there, but it is just, Friday is not the day to travel. And I was saying earlier on my video, man, if you can get out and get in there Thursday is the day to do it. All right, so what I just showed you was the GFS model. Here's the European version. Very similar, 1061 high out here in Montana. Here comes the low developing. Fairly similar. It goes a little bit further to the east. This is Friday, midday, mid-morning, same setup. And then you see things. This is the good news, is that Saturday is Christmas Eve. If your flights and things like that, you can't travel on Friday, it will get a little bit better during the day on Saturday for folks here that are trying to get to somewhere over the river and through the woods, right, for Christmas. So, yeah, I just got a feeling there's going to be a lot of folks that are not going to be where they're supposed to be for Christmas because of this big travel thing. All right, so that's the European model. Let's talk I just want to show you what the Weather Service is saying here. I mean, it's just amazing. This is out of the Twin Cities in Minnesota. 5 to 8 inches of snow Wednesday morning through Thursday morning. Wind chill watch and warning, 35 Thursday through Friday night. 35 below for wind chills. We're already seeing even much more than that for the Dakotas right now. Blizzard conditions developing Thursday into Friday night. Again, this is the Twin Cities in Minnesota, right? 45 to 50 mile per hour winds, and that will drive those wind chills down into the 40 below or more. Travel conditions become life-threatening Thursday through Friday night in the Twin Cities area due to the combination of extreme cold and blizzard conditions. All right, so that is the Twin Cities. Now let's jump over here This is Chicago. I think that's what this one is. Their thing. Strong system developing, 45 to 55 mile per hour winds are expected Thursday night through Friday night. And that's the other thing. What's going to happen is this is a good 24-hour event of high winds. That's going to put all kinds of power out. And when you have power, you don't have a way to get as warm. I mean, yeah, you do, but a lot of people rely on electricity to stay warm. So this is really going to wreak havoc with folks with not only the wind and the snow, but then the power going out and the wind bringing in that frigid cold air. So a lot to watch there as well too. Now Buffalo, here's what they put out earlier. Flash freeze is possible. Winds to 65 miles per hour. Heavy lake effect. You know how it is in Buffalo. It just depends on where you are. Blizzard conditions with whiteouts, tree damage. I mean, tree damage all across Minnesota, Illinois, Northern Illinois, especially New York, all these areas. Difficult to impossible travel at times to wind chills. Look, they're saying once in a generation. See here below, this is some of the winter storm message. I know you can't read this, but I just wanted to point some of it out. They're talking once in a generation storm, record setting, life threatening stuff here. So that's what's coming out of the Weather Service. All right, just real fast, I want to show you the Tampa forecast here. Look, this is Saturday morning, right? This is the actual air temperature forecast from the GFS. 35 at the airport, 30 in East Tampa, Plant City, 28 in Lakeland. We've got some upper 20s in eastern Hernando and Citrus County. Eastern Pasco County will be in the upper 20s. Low 30, look, freezing temps, guys. We've got freezing temps Saturday morning, right? Just about like right in here. Okay, something like that. And that goes all the way over. All right, all of this is freezing. Okay, all of that is freezing first thing in the morning on Saturday morning. That means you need to basically clear all that stuff up, get everything covered up Friday afternoon. Now, let's go out. Maybe we get to 50. I don't think we do. I think we stay in the 40s on Saturday. All right. By the way, no precip, so I don't see any flurries. Sorry about that. Now, let's go out to Sunday morning. Sunday morning, the GFS is a touch warmer, just a touch. I think Sunday morning might actually be a little bit colder, but very, very similar setup to Saturday morning. Now, look, the winds are picking up as we get going into, let me show you the wind. This is Saturday morning sunrise. Let me show you the surface winds here. It's not terrible, but it's going to get breezy, especially on Friday. And then here are the winds as we get into Saturday morning. But look, 10, 15 mile per hour winds Saturday morning when you've got temperatures at or below freezing for many low places. And guys, we're talking Tampa, Florida. That's where I'm from here. So this is Florida cold, mind you, right? We're not complaining it's minus 45 below zero wind chills. But look at the wind chills Saturday morning for the Tampa area. Look at this, 20s, low 20s in eastern Hillsborough County. That's what it will feel like if you go outside and you have exposed skin Saturday morning with the cold air and the wind combined. That's the apparent temperature, the feels like temperature. Now, as we go out to Christmas morning, it's going, look at all the 20s. Most areas will feel like in the 20s just for the actual feels like temperature. The actual temperature itself, you can see is still below freezing for most areas. So hard freeze is likely for the Tampa area, especially Tampa northward. Friday night into Saturday morning, Saturday night into Christmas morning. And watch, we'll even have to watch Monday morning. I went too fast here. Let me get you out to Monday morning. Right there. There'll still be some areas below freezing, although Monday morning will be a little bit on the warmer side. All right, that was the GFS version. Let me show you let me get back here. This is the European. That's the actual air temperature. Look at the feels like temperature on the European. Teens. They've got a little more wind. It feels like it's in the teens for Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus County. Saturday morning, waking up with temperatures in the upper 20s to low 30s. And then Sunday morning, Christmas morning, man, oh man, very similar setup to Saturday. Right now, both models saying Saturday morning is a little bit colder, but certainly hard freezes are likely. So pets, people, plants, take care of them. Keep an eye on them. Have a plan. Cold weather shelters will be opening Friday. You'll need them Friday night and Saturday night if you need a cold weather shelter. Please take care of yourself and your family and your friends and your pets. Don't forget about that. If you've got exposed pipes, wrap those things if you can. Kind of all the stuff that we would normally do here for the cold weather. Guys, I tell you what, basically, this will be if we're in about 33, probably below that. If we wake up at about 32, 33 degrees on Christmas morning, we'll be about the top fourth or fifth coldest Christmas morning on record for Tampa. So this doesn't happen very often. You basically got to go back to 1983 before you see anything cooler than some of the stuff that we're going to see. 89 was a cool year as well, but 83 was really cold. Okay, that's it. Keep it tuned right here. I will keep you updated through this event. But guys, look, please take it easy, especially up there along the Great Lakes if you got travel plans. Have a good one. Stay warm. Pack extra clothes if you're traveling. Pack extra warm clothes if you have them in the car. That's a great thing to have. Blankets, that type of thing. All right. Have a good one, guys.